Welcome, Chris Edmonds Radio. We are back, episode 4 with Little Dave for the podcast. So you guys have been loving these, asking for more, so we're going to keep delivering. So him and I both just got back from SWIS last night, late, and man, what a trip, right? Like, the stars aligned for you to be able to go with me. And when a spot opened up, like, you were the first person I thought of and called. So, like, I figured as long as you could get off work, you'd be in.
Yeah. Literally, you called me. I was like, I don't care how. I'll be off work.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think I started with, if you do want to train the lead FTS with me, and I knew you'd be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, no joke. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Is that even a question?
Right. Yeah. So I'll give everyone a little recap. Like, we both got in Thursday. I came and picked you up at 1:30 from the airport, and then it was about a 25-minute drive to our Airbnb. And then from there, like, we just kind of got settled, unpacked, and then stop one for us was Trader Joe's to stock up on meat and fruit and some vegetables. And then from there, come back, unload that, eat another meal. Then we headed to Kroger to get like water and all like the essential things that we couldn't get at Trader Joe's or didn't get. And we were pretty much
the Rice Krispie treats.
Rice Krispie. That was we were set for night one and just kind of chilled the rest of the night. On Friday, it was seminar all morning long, but we got up and went to pros for cardio, and you did mobility work and I did abs and glutes. And then full day of seminar, filming for MD site. That day we listened to Serrano, and we did a lower back lecture.
Andrew Locke, yeah.
There you go. Yep. And did a ton of interviews. From there, we went straight back to pros, and you and I hit arms and calves, which I think I told you, I was so shocked my calves weren't sore as hard as we hit those things.
Yeah. I actually feel them a bit now.
Oh, hold
on. But that next day, I was like, did we train calves today? That was actually funny.
Yeah, I know, because I mean, in the moment, they were thumping. I mean,
yeah.
So that was a hell of
a session. Very good calf pump, actually.
Say it again.
That was a very good calf, overall arm calf pump. That was fantastic.
Oh, agreed.
And it was funny too, because we could have gone home after that first superset.
Oh, agreed.
That first tricep we did, like, we were just blown up.
Oh yeah, instant. And go ahead.
Yeah, we could have just gone home after that. It would have been a good day.
Oh,
but it was an even better day with the other two.
Correct. And you know what's interesting is I said to you, I was like, man, I was a little worried because I think both you and I were probably a little underhydrated compared to where we normally are.
Oh yeah.
By the time we train, and that didn't impact us at all. Now we both had big things of intra and vasoblast.
Oh yeah.
Beforehand. So I mean, it didn't like we were going in there fully dehydrated, but I could just tell that I hadn't had quite as much as normal. But listen, we did the perfect amount of volume. I even peeled one set off, which I was really proud of myself.
Yeah.
And said, hey, we're good. And then we got some really badass photos down in the basement of that facility in their posing room. So that to me, that just kind of kicked off the whole weekend. And then the next day was back for more seminar early in the morning. We listened to Justin Harris. We listened to a nutrition roundtable with Serrano and a bunch of others. And then we actually went to American Barbell, which is one of my favorite places to go. And we used a shitload of Prime and Arsenal equipment.
Yeah.
And
that Prime stuff is just fun.
Oh, I know.
It's actually funny. It's so funny because when I first got into lifting, when I was like 17, we had one of those Strive. It was just a curl. It was just the bicep curl.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck do you need to have 3 different positions? Like, this is stupid. Just and then you progress, and you're like, actually, that's amazing.
Agreed. And the great thing is, like, both days 1 and 2, the gym when we went were dead. Like,
yeah,
we pretty much had the facilities to ourselves, which is incredible. And then the third day is the highlight of the whole trip, right? Like, we got up. Well, I got up. I did cardio, calves, abs, glutes, and then came back, ate meal 1 at 7. We ate again at 9.
I got up and had coffee.
And then, you slept in because you were jet lagged as fuck by that point.
Yeah.
And then, the highlight of this trip was at Elite. I mean, we were some of the few bodybuilders there, but still just being able to feed off of that energy of the room and
oh yeah,
people in there training. And Like, I told you the only time I'd ever been in there when it was me, John, Noah, and Dave, and that was it. So I'd
Hmm.
never been in there around other lifters, not to the new place at least. So
Yeah.
every time I'd been in, like it was like just us. So it was a just an electric environment is the best way I could describe it. And
Oh, 100%.
I feel like that was such a great lift, like back and forth. Like we started with that Magnum press into that Magnum fly, which if I ever get to use one of those again, like both of those pieces were crazy good.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna find one of those Magnum flies and bring it to one of the gyms I go to.
It's that was that good.
That thing, that was amazing. Like,
Yep.
no, actually, more so for rear delts.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
angle of that machine is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
like a swoop.
yeah. It was
It was
it's
just
it
like,
was the perfect line of force.
yeah,
Then the highlight for you, I feel like, is you pressing those 150s that Dave Tate's wife got
hmm
on camera, which is incredible.
yeah, yeah,
um,
exactly.
exceptional day. Like you just rolled those 150s, and considering like that was third in rotation, we're on the road. Like I don't think people probably grasped what that was like how impressive that was in the moment.
Dude, those felt so goddamn heavy.
Yes. Oh, trust me. Fuck, I hadn't picked up the 150s in over a year. And like, listen, I was fucking amped up. Like, we did the
Yeah,
130s, like, fuck cake, fuck it, give me the 150s. Like, and I sat
uh,
back with those, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
mhm. Yeah, exactly. Same thoughts. I was like, all right, yep, these are good.
now I think it didn't help that you and I crushed exercise 1 and 2.
Yeah,
If we could have started there, it may have felt a little bit like a little bit lighter.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But then from there we hammered shoulders, heck of a pump, like, and then from there, man, I just drove you back to the airport and I got on the road, you got in the air. Um, but yeah, to me, like the biggest takeaway there that I had was like it was just so refreshing to be around so many like-minded people. Anytime
Hmm.
you and I train together, it's a blast. Like I felt like I grew within the 3 days I was there. That's a joke, by the way.
Oh.
Um,
I
but
feel that though.
just being around someone else who is just like me, who eats on a schedule, doesn't eat bullshit, like lives and breathes bodybuilding, like that's just fun for me. So, any
Yeah.
thoughts from you?
No, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I mean, yeah, the it's hilarious because it was just like, well, what time are we training? Okay, it's cool. That's going to be after 3 meals.
Yep.
And then it was like, well, one day I was like, let's actually bump that a little bit further so it is after 3 meals
Yep.
because it was like that's going to be after two. Like, let's do after three.
Yeah, because that was
You
my high
know?
carb day, and I was like, I really want 3.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was back. That was the second day,
Yep.
and I said to you while we were there, I was like, I really wish Chaz was here to film that experience because I feel like that there were so many takeaways. Like if you could just had been a fly on the wall and watched our daily schedule, like if you want to be a successful bodybuilder, like that's what it's going to require. And I think so many people think in order to be a bodybuilder, like at a high level, you have to like just sit on your couch and play Call of Duty all day and just eat your meals like on the exact second. And that's just not feasible for most people. Like we essentially had a full-time job of working SWIS plus client updates and then our own bodybuilding. So
Hmm.
like I really wish people could see that and sense it and get a grip of it and be like, hey, this shit is possible. You just have to be intelligent. Like we were always thinking on the fly. Like there was one day where our meal fell about 30 minutes later than we wanted. Not a big deal. That just meant the rest of the things got pushed back a little bit. Like, and it's all
Hmm.
about, again, to me, that's being intuitive and not being a prisoner. Because at no point did either of us freak out and like, oh my God, we didn't get to eat right on time. It was like, we ate 30 minutes later. Not a big deal. Like, we'll figure it out. Like zero
Hmm.
stress. And like to me, like that's how people are successful. Like, I really believe with as much progress as you've had in the last 3-4 years in particular, and then with how things are going for me, people are like, man, what are you doing different? I'm like, nothing. I'm just doing bodybuilding. It's just
Yeah.
perfect. And like that to me is if we can teach you guys anything, like that's it. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Just the plan, the aspects of planning ahead. You know what I mean? Bodybuilding is not something that you can just wake up and be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go about my day, and you have to know, okay, I'm gonna be gone from this time to this time. That's meals 1 through 4. I have them with me, right? They're made, they're ready to go. How am I eating them? Where's the microwave? Am I going to eat this cold?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's all those little aspects. Like, yes, that's not difficult. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yep.
Like all four if it fits your macros, but good fucking luck.
Correct. Right.
You know what I mean? At zero, there was zero opportunity for us to fit anything into our macro. Like, if I wanted to go, well, yes, at the Hilton, right? They had the chef special. What was it? $30 for 8 ounces of chicken.
Yeah.
And 5 ounces of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still short on carbs.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Cool. Like, what am I going to fill it up with? And then just random shit I find.
Right.
Like a bagel or something. Just something I find on, and it's like, cool. Like, good job. I hit my macros. It's like I would have probably spent $400 a day.
Oh, easy.
Hitting my macros versus $10 in chicken.
You spent 130, and I only know this because I did our expense report. You spent 130 at Trader Joe's. I spent 158 at Trader Joe's, and that was our food for the week. And then total for both of us at Kroger was $82. So
yeah,
you and I were under 400 for both of us eating. What was that? 6 meals times 3 is 18, 32 plus Thursday. So we're looking at 40 meals.
Yeah,
what we didn't bring from home. 40 meals under $400, $10 a meal on the road. Like, if we would have bought that, like say at Outback or at the venue, we would have been $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
And getting suboptimal nutrients. Because listen, even if we went and got steak and potato, that steak's covered in fucking butter and oil.
Yep.
In the store. And good luck getting a true legit 8 ounces.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's going to be light. Yeah. They're like, this is 8 ounces. You're like, sure it is.
Right.
Has anybody else, you probably said something about something being over 5 inches too, but
agreed. All right, man. So you had the topic for this week, and I'm pretty excited to talk about it. So why don't you intro it and we'll get after it.
So a topic we came up with was why? Why does anybody compete? Why do we do this? That the mentality behind that. And it's a pretty easy answer. It actually gets broken down in 2 parts. This might piss some people off, but there's people who love it, and there's the play competitors.
Yep.
So there's people who they compete because they want people to know they compete. And that, it is what it is. But in reality, it's like, I don't know how many people would probably just quit if the gym owner told them they couldn't film and they couldn't have their phone on them at the gym. They'd probably just quit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Versus like, the reason I got into bodybuilding was because I like training.
Same.
And bodybuilding was an outlet for that training. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know bodybuilding existed when I first said it. Like, and then I found out about it. I was like, well, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And it wasn't like, oh, cool, this is popular. Actually, when I first started, it was very much not popular.
Right.
And like very different. And it's cool. It's getting better into the, people are figuring out what, training and eating correctly is, a good thing. But there's still various levels to that. But it comes down to it. It really comes down to those 2 things. Like, you either are in this because you love it and that's your why, or you want people to love you for it.
Here's what's interesting. I feel like both you and I keep a lot of things very close to our chest. Like the conversations you and I have, like about your bodybuilding, you aren't running and posting on social media. Like, we have very specific, distinct goals for you, and we don't talk about it publicly. Mm-hmm. It's between you and I. And listen, I'm the same fucking way. Like, people are like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm bodybuilding, man. Like, I'm literally bodybuilding. I'm eating my food, training hard. Like, because honestly, to me, and I've said this before, like the tan and posing and all that shit, like of stage day and people coming to like support and cheer you on and stuff, like, it's okay. But I much prefer to be in the gym competing with you. Mm-hmm. Like, I very much like, because listen, when we train, I always go first. It's just a rule.
Mhm.
And I sit back with those dumbbells, got 6. You got what, 10, 12?
Yeah.
And that pissed me the fuck off. Like,
Yep.
it just did, because
Yep.
listen, in that moment, we aren't friends anymore. In that moment, like, we're trying to beat each other and get better.
Yep.
And like, to me, that's what bodybuilding is, right? Like, now you and I can't compete with eating food, because we're not going to leave any scrap unturned. Like, the only difference is you eat a touch faster than me, and I drink a fuckload faster than you.
Yep. This is true. This is true.
Yeah, you beat me by eating about a little bit, but then I can just hammer fluid at it's a stupid level. I get that. Like, it's
Yeah.
but it doesn't
How
matter.
fast you legitimately surprised me how fast you drank that Ghost energy drink.
Oh yeah.
Like, you opened it and then I looked over and it was gone. You're throwing it away. And I was like, "What'd you do with that?" You're like, "Oh, I drank it." I'm like, "Fuck, you did."
I had a day we got caught. We got some Americanos, right? You were like sipping on yours, and I was like looking to throw mine in the trash. Like, is that gone? I'm like, yeah, it's done, bro.
Yeah, I've had like 2 sips of mine.
So, it's one of the things, like, we can't compete eating, because you and I aren't walking away from a meal until it's done. And
No.
just getting it down isn't an issue, not anymore for me at least. And so it's like, to me, like, that's what I find fun. Like, I enjoy competing against previous looks and previous bests I've had.
Mhm.
Or if I can drastically bring up a body part, like, that's what I compete against. Because I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, right? Like, let's use your experience at North Americans. You were fucking perfect all season, perfect pre-contest. And in no world were you beating Ken for light heavy or for heavyweights.
Oh yeah,
You aren't
exactly.
there, you aren't there yet. And it's just a matter of time. Like, so to me,
Mhm.
it's like, with competing in this sport, at least, it's just a matter of who shows up. Because you could have a bunch of scrubs show up in your class, and you could have won with the exact same look you got 7th with.
Yep.
Right. And I think so many people put so much stock in like placing and, where things happen. And to me, it's just like one of those things, like, as you said in the beginning, if you don't love this shit, you're going to quit eventually, or you're going to start giving subpar effort and your physique's going to show it. I've always found that the ones who run to social media and tell everyone that I'm doing this show on this day and I'm going to win the overall, like, the probability of those people quitting and leaving prep early or not showing up in shape is way higher than the ones that just literally do bodybuilding or physique or
Mhm.
fill in the blank. Classic. Like, you find the same thing with like competitors that are like so fast to tell everyone they're competing. Like, their success rate is way lower than the ones that just fucking do it.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. It's comical because it's funny. 'Cause the people who have in common, right, they just love talking about competing, are the same motherfuckers who can't stop talking about food and researching the restaurants, what they're going to go eat, and the cheat meals they're going to have,
Yep.
and the shit they're going to eat. And then, when they come in, they're not in shape. It's their coach's fault. They peaked wrong. They did this, and this. It wasn't them. None of it was them.
Oh, hell no. God, no.
You know.
No, and that's why they have to have a
And
coach, right? Because you got to have somebody to blame. You
oh
have,
yeah,
you have to. There's no
yeah,
accountability. Like, you don't look at me and say, "Oh, Chris, I'm sorry I cheated on my meal plan 7 times." It was, "Oh no, Chris didn't manipulate my water and give me enough diuretics." No, you weren't in shape.
right.
Like, you can't train hard when you're depleted. That's like, I think that's a topic that most people don't want to talk about, right? Is training when you're exhausted. Training when you have little, and little food is relevant, by the way.
Yeah,
Little food for someone like you is under 200 grams of carbs in comparison to the 800 that we normally eat. Because
yeah,
they
yeah.
go,
Well, if you
oh,
think
oh,
about it, right? If I normally eat 800 to 900 grams of carbs a day, and I'm eating 200, that's a pretty fucking solid reduction.
damn right.
And we can go back and do that, but that's been years of us building food up.
Correct.
You
Yep.
know, that's not just, oh, I have a fast metabolism. Nope, no, not really. It's just years of actually following a meal plan and
Yes.
not fucking around.
Correct. And not getting fat, like sloppy fat. And not starting from square one always, right? Because these are the same people who will be like, my coach drove me into the ground, blah, blah. I need to do a health phase. I need to like find myself again. Like I've always found those people are really interesting to me, right? Because they don't love it. You and I, the moment we get off stage, it's like, how can we game plan what's next? Is it another show? Is it an off season? Is it a rebound phase? Like, what body parts do we need to focus on bringing up? Like, do we need to focus on improving our presentation, our condition, our color? Like, we instantly go into how do we fix what we can get better at? Where those people, they want to run, they want to escape. Man, I don't want to track my meals anymore. I don't want to take a scale everywhere. I don't want to do my check-in photos. Like, so then I always ask, like, do you love this? And if not, why are you doing it? Like, I don't know.
Like, there's plenty of spots open on like the competitive bowling league. You know, go do something like that. Like, Jesus, like, if you don't want to track your macros, you don't want to diet, or you don't want to eat what you're like chicken and rice or meat and rice, or just in measured amounts, like, cool, legitimately do anything other than bodybuilding. Like,
yeah,
like there's plenty of things out there, and that's not a bad thing. Like, hell, go get fucking strong, go pull 600 pounds off the ground. That's fucking badass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you can smash all the gummy bears you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I think again, it goes back to, as you said, your why, right? Like, at the end of a prep, when you're ravenously hungry and you have to do 45 or an hour of cardio or hit on a spin bike, and then go in there and train as if you're in the full all season, you'll find out real quick how much you love this. And if you're dreading every second, I don't believe in my heart that this is for you, because you're in for a decade of misery. And who wants to sign up for that shit? Like, because listen, it isn't like the NFL where we're making millions of dollars, right? Like, this sport still costs us money. Like, at the end of the day, and it still costs most pros money. Like, and if you aren't in this, and I'm not even going to say the right reasons, because there's millions of reasons you could do it. But at the heart of it, if you don't enjoy the process of off-season, pre-contest, rebound, that's the only way you're going to be successful long-term, unless you're a genetic freak, and those are less than 0.001%.
Yeah, there's some out there, but it's like, pay attention to what everybody else is doing. The ones who are succeeding are doing all the things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every day.
And yeah, it's that simple.
Right. It kind of goes back to, I've never once heard you complain about eating a meal. I've never once heard you complain when I told you to do something stupid in the gym or do something dumb on the spin bike. You're like, okay, cool. And you might ask a question about how you want it done. And then it's like, all right, consider it done. Cool. Sounds like a plan. Like, that's your response.
Yeah, it's all this. Yeah, it's always like, all right, cool. It's so funny because it's like so many people, you add some cardio or you take away some food, they're like, oh fuck, this is the worst. And it's like, or in the opposite side, it's like you get rid of some cardio or you add some food, and they're like, this is hard. It was like, you are aware what changing your body is not. It's not just going to happen. You want to get like, it's the funniest shit, dude. Everybody wants to be lean and everybody wants to get big, but when it comes to doing the things that requires, it's impossible. You tell someone to eat, okay, cool, we're going to eat 9 ounces of protein per meal. They're like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Is that, or the science guys now, they're like, oh, that's not necessary. You can only use this much protein. And it's like, first off, that's general pop.
Yes.
And then second off, bodybuilding is not normal. It's the easiest fucking concept on the planet.
Correct.
If you don't want to be normal, you probably won't be doing normal people shit.
Correct.
Like, I don't know how easy of a concept that is the easiest concept on the planet, right? This is abnormal. You're gonna have to do abnormal things to get there. Like, it's that simple. Like, if you want to be normal, that's great, but you're not gonna get here you know, like it just won't happen. So,
Here's funny. Angela and I had a conversation this morning, right? We have to go down and see. I say have to. It's parents' weekend at Gardner Webb for Ty, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I was like mapping out my schedule for like, hey, we're leaving on Friday at this time. On Saturday, I'm going to train at this time, do my cardio here. On Sunday, it's an off day for me, so I'll just wake up and just chill. I don't do cardio or anything on off days. So I just had to figure out Friday afternoon and Saturday all day, right?
mm-hmm.
And she kind of laughed and said, I don't remember a time where you were unregimented and weren't this precise. And she's like, it's not just this pre-contest, it's not all season, it's always. And what that really triggered to me is like, that's someone from the outside looking in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying, man, she's been with me for almost 16 years at this point, and it's been a progression to get where I am now. But she notices, like, I can't remember the last time I missed a meal. Like,
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what we're doing. Like, I still have a family. Like, it isn't like I'm a single dude, like, just living free with no responsibility. Like, if we're going to a football game, I'm gonna have 2 meals with me. I'm gonna have a big ass thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've brought meals with me to a movie, to a theme park, to a date night. Like, why would you bring meals with your date night? It's like, well, we're gonna be done eating at 5, 6, 5 or 6. We're gonna be out until 10. I'm not going out a meal.
hell no. What's interesting, because, and I'll say this is even more extreme route, right? These are the same motherfuckers that glamorize drugs, right? Because listen, it's the same ones.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if I asked them to do, I'll give you a great example. John one time had me do 3 mLs of L-carnitine injectable every day the last 16 weeks of a prep. That is a fuckload of L-carnitine every day, not miss one day.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't even willing to jab themselves that many times. But they want to talk about trend. Well, guess what? All right, cool. Shoot your test and your trend every day, 7 days a week for the final 12 weeks. Those motherfuckers will be bitching and moaning about how they feel like a human pincushion. Guess what? You're in the wrong sport if you hate that. End of story.
Super true.
And that doesn't count your GH, your insulin. Like, now what? Oh my God, Chris. Like, it's fucking bodybuilding, bro.
Exactly.
No one wants to talk about that. No one will talk about that. But they'll talk about, like, they'll wear the cool shirts that says, like, trend hard. Like, bro, you wouldn't last 2 days with getting trend cough. You'd be calling me on the phone telling me you're going to die. Sorry. Mm-hmm. You're not ready. You're not ready for bodybuilding. You might think it's cool to talk about. Because listen, all Ty's friends ask me about that bullshit. They ain't ready for this life.
No.
They just aren't. They think they are. They want the end result, but not what you have to do in the middle to actually achieve it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's absolutely comical. People will ask you all day, and it's like, I would love to see a period of time where you strung together 30 perfect meals in a row. Has that ever happened?
It's not even a full week.
Right. Nope. Yeah, 42. Right. And it's like, let's see 30 fucking perfect. Just meals. We're not talking training. We're not talking cardio. Just meals.
Yep.
Most people aren't there. And then they're asking about drugs. They're asking about growth hormone. They're asking about trend. They're asking about these fucking peptides, telmisar, and they're talking about all those, those analogs. Oh, Incrulex. Let's do IGF-1. It's like, but you want to do IGF-1, you don't even know where your blood sugar is sitting at right now.
Right.
Right? It's like, cool. You know what I mean? That's probably smart. All those things. It's like, why don't you just take it back to the basics? Like, the basics is what this entire thing is built on. Yeah. It's not like the people who are better you at this sport have just yes, they have amazing genetics, but they don't have extra supplements you don't have.
No, fuck no.
They don't have better food than you. Like, that one's on you. If you want to buy your shit at the fucking dollar store, that's your fault.
Yeah.
But like, meat is meat. And I mean, like, you can get better quality. Like, that's a different tangent. But like, we all have the same foods. We all have the same fucking gravity is the same in every place in the world. You know what I mean? Those 150s we used at Elite are the same weight as the 150s I use at Butler Pro Gym.
Yep.
They're the same thing. They're shaped differently. They're different colors. They have a different handle. They weigh 150.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And we get all these things. It's just like the things we can improve on the most. Like 98% of this huge problem is improving your food, improving your training, improving your sleep, and your recovery.
Yep.
And then that little 2% little sliver of the pie is your PEDs.
Yep.
And most people, boy, they will skip over that 98% and they'll be maxed out on their PEDs. It's like, cool, what else are you going to do? Right? You're running test, trend, mask, oral pre-contest drugs, Clen, T3. You're not getting shredded. Do you think the answer is more drugs? Or could it be something in that big fucking circle what we're missing? You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, those are the same dudes who I suggest health supplements to, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not buying that. I'm not. I can't remember the last time I took fish oil. Real shocker, right? When's the last time you had your blood work done? No clue. When's the last time you tested your blood pressure? I don't know. But you're talking about how you can increase your fucking EQ each week.
Yeah.
No. Back to square one, which goes into like, are you a drug user or are you a bodybuilder? Because to me, bodybuilding is sleep, train, recover, eat. Those are the tenets. Then when you get to a certain level, in my mind, when you nail those four, that's when we add supplements to enhance the process, speed the process, improve your recovery, improve your strength at a faster rate. And it's one of those things.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like we're gatekeeping here. I can give a shit if you want to do drugs. Like, have at it. Like, shit, might as well do some cocaine before you're training. Like, have at it. Like, if that makes you do better, I could give a shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't affect me. Like, if you want to run copious amounts of shit, like the only one that's going to affect is you and probably your immediate family.
Yes.
But in reality, like no one gives it. Like, I can give a rat's ass if you want to take a ton of test drugs and call yourself a bodybuilder. But it's just like, if you want to look like one, like the other shit, what's in there?
Yeah. I mean, you and I have shared this plenty of times. Like 99% of the people that I've trained with, and it's like a small 1%, you're in there, will come here, train with me, and be like, man, I'm not doing this at home. Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. I know. Now, go home and repeat this, nail all your meals, and guess what? We don't need more supplements. Shocker, right? Like, I think so many people believe you and I have these like inside secrets that I only share with you, or just something ridiculous. And it's like, no. Like, I taught you how to bodybuild, and now we're just leveling up each year on everything that we do, improving your digestion, keeping you healthy, training harder and smarter, like finding ways to fill in gaps of your physique that weren't there before, right? Like, we're filling in holes now that weren't holes when you were way smaller. So it's like, it's one of those things where as you grow, that evolves. And each time you get better for that very reason. It's because we're so meticulous. I mean, for fuck's sake, I picked your pull down that we did on back because I think this is going to target that area of your upper back that we need to fill in on your front lat spread, front relaxed. There aren't many people breaking down physiques like that with a fine-tooth comb and then coming up with solutions for it. Because I know in my heart, if we can do that, I can see you do it and execute it in the gym. I see the muscle that I need working, and then now we've got to repeat it and then eat your meals. It's going to be better.
Yeah.
It's no thought.
Pretty goddamn simple.
Correct. We're going to get this leg fucking fixed, and your legs are going to blow up even more. Like, it's going to be wild. Like, your legs are full as fuck right now, and you're injured. Like, most would love to have your legs, and they're literally injured right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you posted that quad shot after cardio in that upstairs like stretching room, and it's full blown. Like, it's just laughable. But, like, I will say this to kind of wrap up today. I really encourage you all to get out pen and paper and write down why you started this, what drove you to even want to look into it. And then at the bottom of that, write what your new short-term and long-term goals are. In the next 12 weeks, I want to do, and they need to be fucking tangible. It's hit 42 meals a week for the next 6 weeks, perfect with no miss to the gram. That's tangible. I'm not going to miss a training session. When it calls for a work set, I will give 100% effort. And those things are very tangible. And then that'll lead to me to your long-term goals, which are, let's fill in the blank. Let's say it's improve your back, like your lat width, and increase your biceps. If you do those things I just talked about, I guarantee you in a year it'll be better. End of story.
Yeah.
And I think, I think a lot of other people too out there, they don't know their why. They've never been pressed on it. They're like, I found bodybuilding because I thought it was cool, or my buddy suggested I do it, or they don't really have that deep-seated, like, pull you out of bed reason. And that will always be a challenge for them to get to do what is required when shit gets hard. You and I both know when we're deep in an off season and food is hard to get down, why we do it. When we're on the flip side of that in the contest prep and you're hungry and tired and lethargic and your joints hurt, if they hurt, there's a reason we just don't say, not today. I'm gonna go have 5 guys with Angela today. I'm gonna take her out to a nice dinner. No, fuck you. I'm gonna go eat my fish and shut the fuck up and not complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it's really that simple. There's a season for all of it, and I mean, there's probably like 10 weeks total in bodybuilding where you're comfortable.
Yeah, agreed.
So the other 46 weeks of the year, like, you're comfortable, you're probably not changing.
Right. Yeah.
1,000%.
So,
like, you're gonna feel heavy as shit in the off season. You're gonna be tired. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to a lot of things. Like, walking upstairs should probably beat the shit out of you.
Yep.
And then flip side, pre-contest, you're gonna be hungry like 24/7.
Oh yeah.
And you got to deal with it. You know what I mean? It's just that.
I think I've said this to you before. I can't remember if I've said it on a podcast or not. Like, the reason you and I are successful pre-contest is because when that day starts and that flip is switched, we will lock ourselves in the basement until the basement light comes on, until your mom says you can come back upstairs. And that shows. And it's not, oh, I made it to weigh-ins and now I'm going to smash protein bars and shit food in Five Guys. It isn't, oh God, prejudging over, now I'm going to eat my fucking dick off. It's when your hand is either raised or the other man's hand is raised. That's when the basement light comes on and you can come back upstairs.
Yeah.
And you don't accept anything outside of that. Like,
exactly.
we talked about that this weekend, right? Cheating is not an option. Why? Because it's not even in our horizon. Like, because we aren't allowing it. In the words of Sean Clarita, there is no plan B. It's follow the plan until the time is over. When the time elapsed, then we come back to reality. And the reality is, I can have a free meal with my family now. I can take a deep breath. I can go have a breakfast with them the next morning. Cool.
Yep.
Then guess what? Monday comes and it's right back the fuck on it.
Yep.
You're back in that basement. It's just different.
Yep. And it's funny too, because it's just like you said, there's no plan B. So that plan A, like, obviously life fucking happens. Like, I can't tell you, I've been in prep and I've left my meals on the fucking counter and went to work. Shit, there's been times I turned around, I was just late for work. I was like, cool, this matters more. There's other times where, like, I left it there, got to work, didn't even notice, come to my meal, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to figure this out. There's a reason why I have a scale with me, like, at the office.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, shit happens. Does not mean you have an excuse to, like, we have food everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, figure it out.
Yeah, it's really not that challenging. Like, if you had access to a Trader Joe's and a food scale, which you get at Target or Walmart, literally, vegetables, jasmine rice in the bag, pre-made chicken. You have your entire rest of your day. You can get some salt and pepper. You can get some sriracha or whatever that dragon sauce that you and I got there. They're your next meals. Enjoy chicken, rice, and olive oil. Done. Game over.
Exactly.
Is it perfect to the plan? No, but it's better than the alternative, which is not eat or eat bullshit and justify it.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
as I've said thousands of fucking times, you just have to find a way. And if your will is strong enough, you will figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. It's
Like,
really that simple. It's a matter of just figuring it the fuck out.
and honestly, with DoorDash, you can have all that shit shipped to your fucking work. Like,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
technology we have now, you honestly you get canned tuna, the rice in a bag, and a thing of celery. You cook
Yeah.
literally nothing. Game over. You had your next meals. You can order a bottle of olive oil. Game over. Done. Figure it out. Go.
Yeah.
I just problem solved the
100%.
entire issue.
Call your girlfriend and be like, hey, I need some chicken.
Right.
Figure it out, you know? Phone a friend.
Right. I'm gonna leave you guys with the story then here. So I got stuck at the Chicago Pro backstage and I was starting to get woozy. Keena looked at me and said, "You need to eat, right?" I said, "Yup." She literally sent her boyfriend upstairs to their hotel room and she said, "Please text Mike your order." I said, 8 ounces of chicken, 225 grams of rice, a tablespoon of olive oil, salt and pepper, please. He had it down to me in 3 minutes. It was cold. I didn't give a fuck. Sucked it down, didn't miss. It's as easy as that. If that
Yeah.
wouldn't have been an option, I would have got my ass an Uber, went back to the Airbnb, made my meal, and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Problem solved. Not a big deal. All right, guys. Another episode 4 done. Your why. Figure it the fuck out, and it'll make everything clear. All your decisions will be clear. Him and I, there is no second guessing. We have one destination. Bigger and better. Harder. Simple. All right, guys. Until next time, Little Dave, Chris Evans. See ya.